Everyone, today I am going to discuss constant in classical mechanics. Clear? So we are going to discuss constant in classical mechanics. So I am also going to discuss one properties of constant force. Second, criteria of classification of constant or constants. Third, classification of constants. Clear? Now let us understand what is constant. Constant limit the motion of the system in real life. The object in motion is constrained or restricted to move in such a way that its coordinate and or velocity component must satisfy certain prescribed relation. Let me write this in short. Relation at every instant of time. Here the relation are either expressed in the form of equations. Clear? Let me write this in short. Or inequalities. Clear? So this is to be noted. The constant relation are either expressed in the form of equation or equations or inequalities. Now, how can we realize the constant motion physically? So, physically, constant motion is realized by the constant force which appear when the object in motion is in contact with the constraining surface or surfaces or curves. Clear? So let me explain the properties of constant force. So let me erase this. Properties of constant force. 1. Elastic in nature and appear at the surface of contact. 2. Extremely strong. Extremely strong. Constant force are extremely strong. Clear? And constant force, they hardly allows the body under consideration to deviate slightly from the prescribed path. Clear? And third, the only effect of constant force is to keep the constrained relation satisfied. Clear? So let me write this. The only effect of constant force is to keep or maintain is to keep the constraint relation, let me write in short, satisfy. Clear? It only maintain the constant relation satisfy. Clear? Now let me explain the criteria of classification of constraint. Next, criteria of classification of constraint on the basis of so let me represent in this way. So the first is time dependent or time independent. Clear? The next is integrable or non integrable. Clear? The next is conservative or dissipative. Clear? And the last is algebraic equation or equations or algebraic inequalities. Clear? So these are the criteria. 1, time dependent or independent, integrable or non-integrable, conservative or dissipative, algebraic equation or algebraic inequalities. Clear? Now let me erase this. So let us discuss the classification of constraint or constraints. One, either celernomic or rheonomic. Now let us understand what is scleronomic constant. So in this case, the constant relation, okay, let me write in very short. Constant relation is time independent. For rheonomic, constant relation is time dependent. Second, either holonomic or non holonomic. So let us understand what is holonomic. In this case, constraint or constraints relation, clear? Relation are or can be made independent of velocities, clear? And for non holonomic, clear? So in this case, the constant relation are not holonomic. It do not obey this condition for non holonomic. Now third, either conservative or dissipative, clear? Now in case of conservative, total mechanical energy is conserved while performing the constrained motion, and for dissipative, total mechanical energy is not conserved. Clear? Now, fourth, either bilateral or uni unilateral. Now let's understand bilateral. In this case, constraint relations are in the form of equation, not inequalities. Clear? And both backward and forward motions are possible. Now let us come to unilateral. So in this case, constraint relation are expressed in the form of inequalities at some point. No forward motion is possible. Clear? So only this much for today. Please do like, comment and subscribe my YouTube channel. You can also email me at phyjiwan @gmail.com if you have any queries, and you can follow me at my Facebook page @JIWAN Physics. Thank you.